Welcome. How are we doing today? Thanks for stopping by. It is Friday, June 30th. I'm going to go ahead and pause the music real quickly so we can hear me speak. Guys, I apologize. It's been a crazy week, crazy month. A day doesn't go by that I don't think to myself, I really want to be on Hobby News Daily Live right now, talking to you about what is going on in my mind around the hobby. It's just been hard. First of all, let me just say, I'm a huge fan of 1 Million Cubs Project, who goes live every day around this time. I think I'm on the tail end of his show right now. And I just love his show. So every day watching his show, I either try to fit this show in before or after, and the day just happens. And right now I'm running this at the tail end. I just got a lot going on, but I got so much to talk about. Had to get it out. Thank you for the few people who are stopping by, those people who will stop by later on, those people who text me and say they catch the show a few days later. So we'll get back to doing more daily content as soon as possible. I got some great videos coming out. In fact, one video I want to talk about in this video that I've been working on in my mind, not on video yet, but it's in my mind, man, is around breaking and how breaking will change in the future. I've got the solution for breaking. I can solve it all, guys. In fact, the video I'm going to put together, Fanatics needs to watch this video. Fanatics needs to watch this video, and they need to hire me to come run the program and tell me what to do. In fact, they don't really need to hire me because I wouldn't want to work for them, but it's just such a great idea. Oh, let's go ahead and jump. Boom. Real quickly, a few things to mention. Stranger Things cards are still available on the Netflix channel, Netflix website for $50. Just in case you're a fan. Also today, not much really cool out. What is this Bowman's University Best Basketball? And does that have Victor Wembanyama autographs in it? I'm going to assume not, because it's university's best. But why? Like, this is confusing to me. They're going to confuse the hell out of us. A lot of uncertainty. And you know what I'm telling you? There's nobody out there. Why doesn't someone come out on a daily show and tell you, this is the chase card that will be in this product. This is the chase card. Look, I'll be honest. I don't have the time for that. But these other channels, can you guys do that for me? Is Victor Wembanyama in this product? I want a big, like, notification. This is a great story here. Box breaks, ESPN. When I got into sports card breaking back in 2015 and buying into breaks, once I got into breaking, I thought to myself, why doesn't anybody else know about this? Why isn't this a bigger mainstream thing? And then as it got bigger and bigger, like in 17, 18, 19, I kind of realized by then, I think it just was, it's a shady business, right? The razzing, the filling of breaks, the whales, allocations. There's so much to it. Watching this, I'm super excited because I expect some major changes to come. I got a great one to share with you in a moment. Okay, let's get into some content. Wax Museum poses the question, do we really need group breakers? First of all, big fan of Wax Museum. Do recommend checking him out. He was an original Bench Clear Media member. Yes, we do need group breakers. There's nothing wrong with group breakers. The whole concept of group breaking is good. What is wrong with group breaking? Let me tell you what's wrong with group breaking. The money. The money is wrong. What I mean by that, let's be honest. I'm asking you to open up a goddamn box of cards and sort the cards and send me mine. That's it. And I'm going to pay you. And I'll pay you a few extra bucks to do it. Right? But the fact that what breakers do, here's what a breaker does. A breaker isn't a card opener anymore. A breaker is a hustler who goes out, locks allocation, sits on it, waits on it, or gets in it early, whatever, times it so that they can extract the most value out of a product that they know does not have that value. And they, in my opinion, even the ones that love breaking, know that they're doing something wrong. Right? They know that the value's not in that card, and they don't break at cost. I'll give you a great example. Las Vegas Collectibles tried to break at cost, and I tried to explain to them you can't break at cost because people don't want to pay. Anyway, I got a video coming out that's talk about breaking. I'll talk about the problem here, but let me just say this about Wax Museum's video. Yes, we need group breaking. We need an ability. It's not even a choice. You should have the freedom to do that. It's a fun thing to do. It should be more encouraged. It shouldn't be as expensive. I'll give you another example. The value of a box, a value of a sealed box, has this fucking market cap mentality. If a box of sealed product goes on eBay for $1,000, then every box like it is $1,000. No, that's not the case at all. You don't know the story behind why that box sold for $1,000. Just like you might see a box listed for $1,000 that might be sold for $200 to his friend. But that doesn't mean every box in the goddamn market is not worth $200. But it's that false inflation of, well, the boxes are good for $5,000. And if there's $5,000 and there's 30 teams, then I've got to divide $30 into $5,000. No, because you're dividing something into a bullshit number. You should be dividing into a fair number. That fair number used to be suggested market price, suggested retail price, with a little bit of shipping and handling cost. When we get back to that, we get back to really breaking becomes commoditized, where I just go out and there's a box that's $500 and I just want to buy the team that I want and I get a portion of that team for a fair percentage of that price. Statistically, that's what breaking should be. And it will be again. And it's important. I'm going to come back to it later on. I got a great video coming out. I want to talk about this guy right here. Welcome to YouTube, Mr. Mike Geo. You know, there's a lot of mics, a lot of teachers in YouTube content, a lot of mics. This guy's very arrogant to me. I've not really followed his content because he's not been on YouTube for years. They've been mainly a podcast, which I've said this before. Anyone can make a podcast. And I applaud people who do. Podcast takes a lot of discipline. You got to be doing it all the time. I don't do podcasting, okay? But anybody can do that. What bothers me the most, what rubs me wrong about Mike Geo, Mike, is you come on here, first of all, blasting a bunch of other people, you know, making a bunch of rants and raving about how much you know and how special you are, right? He basically attacks anybody who's been putting out information. He starts attacking people out there overreacting on information. They put stuff out for likes and hype and blah, blah, blah. Let me just share some with you guys. Mr. Mike Geo, okay, I don't know if he still is, but he was a breaker before COVID, okay? He was a breaker, and that's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people are breakers, but he wasn't one of the bigger ones. He wasn't one of the best ones. He wasn't one of the most known ones. He's just a breaker out of New York area, I believe. I don't know for 100%, but he was a New York breaker, I don't know, breaker on the East Coast. He's a breaker with allocation. You were a breaker. And you were selling breaks to kids and doing razzes with kids. You're just a breaker like everybody else, dude. Nothing special. You're a freaking card opener. And you did some deal with The Ringer, massive distribution of content, and you became their podcast during COVID. Okay. And that's cool. That's how I found you. I found you on The Ringer. I'm like, okay, cool. I even reached out to you. I reached out to you after the national about NFT breaking. I've reached out to you several times. You've always been rude and dismissed me. You don't respect people. And again, you did not grow organically. None of your followers, in my opinion, are organic. Like many breakers, you have thousands of people who come use your service. They bookmark your page. They come back to watch your breaks, and they forget about you. And then they come back later on and go, oh, yeah, I forgot I was in this guy's break. Okay, you don't have the subscribers that, say, a Neo has or Dan the Card Man has or even AIH. And what I mean by that numbers, but the passion, the care, people who follow these guys. Even like Sports Card Dad has a lot more organic, credible growth than you do. And you're rude. You're arrogant. And I bet you, here's another thing I don't like. You come on there blasting everybody, but you're too cowardly to name anybody out. And the reason you didn't do that, Mike, is because, well, you're in business here, because you're probably going to have the same people you're thinking about, but too cowardly to call out. You're going to have them on your channel in the future. And that's fine. I don't want to be on your channel. I'm here to call you out. I'm here to keep an eye on you because, again, I know who you are. If I'm wrong, you have my number. Call me. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me you're not a breaker. Tell me you didn't have The Ringer backing you up. Tell me all your growth is because you're so freaking wise and genius. The fact you named your YouTube channel Geo Talks after TED Talks and make some arrogant comment that we don't know what TED Talks is irks me as well. As somebody who knows what TED Talks is, TED Talks is exclusive for intelligent people in the intelligent community who talk about intelligent topics. That's what I think about TED Talks. Think about that. Let that soak in a little bit, arrogant Geo. Just, God, you rub people the wrong way. Just, I'm going to try really hard. And you talk about sponsorships. Dude, you're the most sponsored. You brag about this too. I make more money than anybody on sponsorships. I asked them. They tell me they pay me more money than they pay him. I'm thinking back to Cage and Andrew. Why didn't Cage and Andrew do better than these jokers? Cage and Andrew were a lot more humble, cared about the freaking collector, didn't come from a breaking background. God, sorry to rant. He attacked Sports Card Radio indirectly, talking about how they overreact, they make all this stuff. Let me tell you what Sports Card Radio does. They bring attention to stuff. I like that. I like the attention they're bringing to this. I'll be perfectly honest. I do think that Rich Layton was an idiot to put together this interview article. Not a fan of Rich Layton. He's got a back history with Rich Layton. You're probably thinking, Z, who are you a fan of? Well, I have a few people I'm a fan of, and there are a few people who are a fan of mine. But the people don't like me. You know why? I think because I'm too damn brutally honest. I just call shit out when I see it. I'm like, dude, that's wrong. I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, to stop. Just stop. Anyway, Sports Card Radio, one of my favorites. I love what they're talking about this. And again, they're bringing attention to breaking. It has been targeted. It has been targeting children. Look, I have kids, and I'll be honest, I used to get my kids into breaks. I now look at that and think it is a bad thing. I know that. And I can see how it's progressed. My son and I talked about this. My son, sports cards, fantasy football, fantasy gambling, DraftKings. We've had a conversation about this. This is a concern. I'm a parent. I'm dealing with kids. This needs to be regulated. We'll talk about that in a later video. And it would be better if it's regulated because it's too damn shady right now. We don't know what's going on and we need to know more. Sports card investor. You see why I couldn't wait to talk today? I just couldn't hang out too long. Can this guy save the hobby? Well, let me tell you something. I've heard somebody say this before, and I'll say it again. The hobby does not need anybody, any of you. Does not need you, doesn't need me, there's not a single person participating in this hobby that it needs to survive. It will survive fine. Hobby is about people collecting things primarily around sports. And in my opinion, it is because sports give us a common timeline through our lives. And that is why we like sports. And that is why we see that. So I don't see the hobby changing. I don't see any changes to how we're affecting that. One person isn't going to change it. One rookie isn't going to change it. One rookie class, one product, one company coming out with some generational move, which is absolute bogus, bull garbage, isn't going to change a hobby. Because a hobby, again, as long as we as humans want to track and remember, and again, it's a male dominant, so it has men and sports fans, which again, we make up a lot of them. If you look at the sports fans, spend a lot of what we refer to as disposable income on games, on tickets, memorabilia, memories. We want that, and hey, remember the year that this team won? Who won the championship that year? Who was in the playoffs? That's our memory, and these cards are that timeline for it. That does not need an individual. What I'll remember when Victor Wembanyama is gone in a few years, whether he's an all-star or not, I'll remember the next guy that comes along, and I'll think back to Victor, and I'll think back to Ogden, and I'll think back to Duncan. I'll think back to other, big centers and so forth. Another great video. I really enjoyed this video. I didn't have a chance to comment on it. This is one that made my heart kind of like, wow, man. John Mangini opened up Tennis Sapphire. Because I believe when these Sapphire products were made, this was the intent. The intent was to make a cool box that just a Joe collector could go out one day, buy online, and send it home and open up just to check it out, right? Like, I didn't think Sapphire was intended to be at the local card store because the guy went out and bought allocated product. And he's selling at his local card store for 5 times what it should be, right? That's what it has become. That's why I'll say I want the future to be Fanatics, where every product is available for me online to Fanatics. And if Fanatics doesn't have it online, I can go to the Walmart or Target and pick it up. I just don't see a reason why I want to go to some specialty boutique and subsidize some guy so you can sit at home and sit on allocation like eggs. I just don't get it. Now, I will say this. One thing I think is going to break down in this is that it assumes that Fanatics is in touch with its consumer enough that it makes products that we want and are on demand. What has been there for so long is a channel that stuffs and hides the reality. Like, they'll take a crap product and hold it because they want a better product. And then they'll just deal with the crap product to get to the better product. And then we never get evolution in the products themselves. And I'm going off on a total tangent, but that is what I'm excited for. I look forward to the day where guys like John Mangini can buy a box of Sapphire tennis or Sapphire basketball or Sapphire, I don't know, Garbage Pail Kids and have it sent home and enjoy it and not worry that Blowout is sitting on 500 boxes of it, because they're going to charge little Pullman $400 a box so we can put in a break and charge me $800 and the total price to get in. I'm just giving you a perfect, terrible example because those are not real things. Okay, Sapphire is still available. Look at this. Chrome, $50 and $60. Sapphire boxes. Anybody thinking I'm going to store this away and save it because it's the first time I ever had it, or it's the first year they made this. I don't know. I will say I do think this stuff is limited made. I don't think they made a lot of it, right? Do you think they can make more of this? I mean, they could, but I don't think they did. Just not on my radar. It's not something I want. I thought about it when they came out, and I got the email. I thought to myself, should I grab a box of each one of these? Just put it away. Put it on this case. It could be like a box, a sealed box. I'm like, no. Now, first of all, I hear voices. Okay, quickly here. Great video here. A lot of videos out on baseball and the Topps Chrome coming out, which is coming out on the release day of National, which I think they'll get that right. I think this is a good product to open up on National Day. A lot of major changes, huge major changes. Going from 5 autos to 3. That is a 40% reduction, right? 40% reduction. Or 2 autographs to 1. That's a 50% reduction. Wow. I do think, though, Fanatics is going to drive the value up of the autographs in the future. I think that is their play. I think to make the autographs more valuable, putting in the products. And again, I got this idea for breaking. So I don't know. I also tell you, I'm thinking about Chrome. In the past, Chrome was a product that I would go after in breaks. I don't know if I'd do it this year. I need to look at it. Um, Reason I bring up Big Al's cards video here, by the way, is he's one of the only guys out there who told you not to go out and buy the pre-orders. I love that. He was the only one that, oh, it's on Topps website right now if you want to buy some. I bought 2 boxes. He's the only one that's like, no, there's going to be plenty of Chrome. It's going to be out there. Don't worry. And it could go up in price. It could go down in price. But there's going to be tons of it. So I do take his video. I decided I'm going to wait, watch a few cases break, and then I'll make a decision. Let me just say this too quickly. I just said I'm going to watch a few cases break before I make decisions. That is how important breaking is. Imagine if there were no breakers. If a product was released and we had to wait for singles to hit the goddamn market before we knew what the hell was in the product. That would suck. Okay. Great video here from Neo Cards and Comics. 2 great videos talking about it. First of all, I did one talking about how LeBron James does not seem to be exclusive with Upper Deck anymore. Pretty cool insight. Didn't know that. He does give credit to the Blowout Forums guys who brought that to his attention. He talks a little bit about it. It would be interesting to see that. I did think that would have been a bigger generational news announcement with Topps than the damn patches they made. The patches were lame. The patches were absolutely lame. But if they had done this with LeBron, that would have been a bigger deal. Oh, why I have this up? CGC and cards. So let me quickly say this. I laughed when they talked about this merger. It wasn't news to me on my radar. Again, I don't use them. I'm not involved with these guys. I've been a fan of them. I think they are going to be the number 2 grader in the future. They already are, I guess, the numbers, but I think they'll be the number 2 in competition and could potentially replace PSA as number 1. It all comes back to, I heard this whole debate. I think it was Retro Hoops and JD talking about we keep buying this stuff. Who bought the best? I'll tell you guys, if you did a blind taste test of slabs, not you can taste them. CGC has the best slabs in the market right now. They do. Everybody says that, but they don't get the best resale value. The reason I'm bringing this up is this autograph authentication. They're talking about a process where they're going to bring people into their facility, kind of like when you go to a show and you meet the guy and you get something autographed. They're going to bring them into the facility, interview, make content with them, do autographs, could do inscriptions, get your stuff done, get it graded, have it shipped out to you. They're doing that right now. I think it's Seth MacFarlane. They're doing it with some other people. They can do it with celebrities, pop culture, athletes. That is cool. That is super freaking cool. I was at the Chantilly show last weekend. And I tell you, that is one of the big drivers, right? Is that autograph. I'm telling you, this to me, autograph is the key. And the fact that SGC still sleeps on that, doesn't do autographs at all, is what bothers me. And the fact that all these people who are influencers who say they understand the hobby are basically on the tit of SGC and aren't pushing SGC to change that. Like, that's what bothers me, man. Like, why? Why SGC and HGA are the same company? Except the HGA actually uses AI. I mean, that's the SGC. I mean, CG. Let me just say, SGC, Peter's company. Okay, their graders have less experience than most of the other graders in the industry, based on the fact 3 years ago, Peter even says in a video, there were 8 people at CSG, 8. Now there's 100. So that means that 90 something of those employees are new, have less than 3 years of experience. Now HGA, I think, came out about 3 years ago. HGA, 3 years ago. They probably have a similar amount of experience on their grading staff. That concerns me. It does concern me. That's why I will say, again, I use PSA. I'll tell you again, I use PSA. But these guys are on my radar. And I look forward to using them one day. I also would love to use Tag one day, but it hasn't happened yet. Okay. Last video I'll make. I really like Dustin. He makes me laugh every day. I appreciate his hustle. What was this video, Dustin? Are you gonna make a reaction video to Jeff every week now? I mean, dude, I really wish, like, I'll be honest, I'd love to talk to you. You won't talk to me. You're mad at me because I'm too hard on you. But if I could talk to you, Justin, I could give you 5 little projects you could do in sports cards that would teach you how to play with sports cards. You could share with your audience, and I think you would have fun doing, right? 5 little projects. I don't know why you can't do that. Like, why can't you find something cool in the hobby that's hobby related and go do that? Like, I was in some breaks recently. People do PSA reveals and grades. You react to Jeff Wilson's videos, which is cool because I know Jeff's got a lot of followers, and you react and you get followers, and I react to you and I get followers, and I react to Jeff and I get followers. But I don't even know what your point was here. I honestly don't even know what your point was, but it was entertaining. I remember that. I laughed. And I thought to myself, gosh, I really wish you would do something more. Another thing I realized, you are totally doing a great job where now you don't make your own content, but you branched out to other content creators. Love it. I do love it. And I'm not trying, as I'm wrapping this video up, I'm not trying to be mean, Dustin. I just really wish, I guess I go back to this guy right here. No, this guy right here. I'm a bigger fan of you than I'm him. But you both are examples of you do everything you do in front of the camera is so you can get money. And I understand that. But it's not for the hobby. And I wish it was. I wish you guys did more to care about the hobby. I guess I'll leave it at that. I guess it is what it is, right? I mean, hey, it's like it'd be like me critiquing the McDonald's guy who makes burgers, right? He makes burgers. He doesn't give a shit the burgers are bad. He just makes burgers, right? You guys don't care your content's not pro hobby, benefiting the hobby. You make content. You make burgers. You both make burgers. You're McDonald's and Burger King. I got it now. I got it. Whew, if you guys stuck around in the end, took a breakthrough. I realized McDonald's and Burger King are in the house. Wow, that was a long. Ooh, I got 13 people. Oh my God, I was not expecting that. Let's see what's going on here. I'll take comments and questions. I know, Mr. Mangini, sir. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Break extremely shady. I always thought myself because it is because of the greed. That's what bothers me, man. And here's the reality too. Breakers know that. Like I heard somebody say this before. At some point when you're breaking, you realize that you're selling something that you don't 100% feel good about. You have to. I love it. I love buying into breaks. I love buying into breaks. But I also know when I'm buying into breaks now, because I've had so much experience in breaks, that I know someone buying into breaks is not going to do well. Like I'm thinking about, why did that guy buy that team? Oh my God, he paid that much for that team. Oh, or else I watch breaks and I see where guys miss, and I'm like, that was a poor choice. Why did you? So yeah, I have a thought on breaking. Like I'm gonna drop it real quickly. I think they just need to embrace it, run right into it like it's a wave, and say, hey, we're gonna make a gambler's breaking product, right? So each product would have whatever number of teams. Each team would have a number of hits. You would have valuations in the box. Okay, so the box is $1,000 box. You'd have statistical estimates. Like for example, you'd have the chase cards, 5, 10, 15, whatever the chase cards are. And as the chase cards are hit, you'd have them taken off the board. So the numbers would be up there. All the statistics have to be, and I'm really throwing a lot at you, but my point is you buy a product, you scan the barcode. So it goes into a system of gambling. All the gamblers are registered. All your teams are registered. You open the product up. There'll be 30 winners. Everybody will get something because the product has been made so that every team is represented. One team's going to kill it in there. Every product will have at least one winner, one guaranteed winner that will make at least 50% of the estimated value of the box from that. And then out of every case, there'll be one product or one winner that's so much. But you could statistically stack value in a product so our products are equal and even. And so that when they're open, you scan the product and you know that product's not been registered, and those hits are then taken out of the system. Now, I'll tell you this would all be easy, very, very easy to do in an NFT world. I know you don't want to hear that. You're like, fuck that, Mike. But if you took a product, let's take I'll take my Monopoly product that I love because I know it so well. If you NFT'd Monopoly and then you made it available in breaks, that you had to go register and you get your spot Monopoly, you pick your team, you pay for your team, whatever it is, and they do an NFT break. And then you get your NFTs, and then I collect my NFTs, and at some point I would redeem those NFTs to the manufacturer, and they'd send me my cards and my whatever I won, right? If I hit, for example, the Color Blast or a chase card. Let's say the Color Blast have a known value of $1,000. So I hit the Color Blast, I can either cash it out immediately and get $1,000 of credit, or I can redeem the card. I can grade the card. I can do what I want to and do something aftermarket with it. That is what I think the future. Just embrace it. Breaking and sports cards are gambling. Make it gambling. Target gamblers, and I know collectors like that makes me sick. But your collectors are going to then get the residuals because who they need to sell it to? They need to sell ultimately to a collector. And if you take away all the middleman, I think the product then has less fat in it. Like you don't think you're spending $20,000 to open a box of Flawless. That is a ridiculous amount of money. Flawless should be about $1,000 to $2,000 a box. All that extra money is hype money put in there, right? And I will say this too with the betting: as big hits or big things get pulled out, the value of that box should go down. It should all be tracked. It should all be transparent. Okay, so much to talk about. Good morning, Zombie Collector. Big fan of your stuff, dude. Big fan of your stuff. Love your channel. If anybody doesn't follow Zombie Collector, I don't know why you're not, but I love his conversations, his insights, his thoughts, what he talks about. Special. John Mangini, Hall of Famer. I agree, man. I'm going to move through a little quickly here, guys. I did not expect. What's the deal with Michael Jackson guy attack on the card players? You heard? Yeah, I have. a sports card reckoning. Personally, I think everybody's interesting, and I think everybody has a personality. I don't think John is exactly as mean as he comes across in his videos. I've seen him engage. I love the fact that Flipping Steve engages with him. John, if you're listening, I've always reached out to you. Would love to have you on my channel. Love to talk to you. I think you should. I personally should have a different approach versus attacking everybody. But hey, look at me. Who am I to tell you? I'm in a glass house. Don't throw rocks. Don't throw rocks. But he is who he is. Weird story. I mean, I think he's a good person. He's taking care of his dad. Lives in Florida. I don't know much else, man. He's passionate about Michael Jackson being the son of Diana Ross, which is cool, but I don't care. Like, is that going to change anything in the world? Will I get like a check in the mail? Happy Friday. Thank you, guys. Thank you, man. No. If you're talking to me, I'm talking. Yeah, Sports Card Reckoning. Yep. What's up there, Sports Card Collector Chronicles? Hoping to go to Nashville and see a bunch of you guys. Good morning. How's it going? Doing well, Clemente Collector. Big fan. Dude, I loved your roundtable on the National. You know why? Let me tell you, the number one reason I loved yours, and I'm going to give you a comparison. I think I listened to, I'm going to say his name. I think it was 90s Card. Jake did his. Everybody in yours pretty much was new, and you guys owned it and admitted it. And you talked all about the cards you're going for, the collecting stuff, what you want. And all I thought to myself, these guys are just geeking out. Like, it's like when I used to go to Star Trek stuff. Like, you love the stuff, dude. The passion was there. Then I listened like 90s baseball card collector. I was like, find the deals in this one. Make sure you get over on this for this time, which is cool too. Just different vision, different angle. The other thing was most of those guys too had only had a few years of experience, but they seemed a lot more arrogant about it. Like one of the guys like, well, this is my third national. The first one I went to was in 2021. I went last year, and now I'm going this year. It's like, so you've been to 3, and now you're like a genius or something? I mean, I don't know. I loved how the Clemente Collectors group was very humble. That makes sense. I hope I got that right too. I hope I wasn't mixing two groups up. I've never swayed. Autographs are a long-term value. Yep, I agree, man. On-card art, you can, but I'm not a hater of stickers either. I'm not. To hate stickers is kind of foolish. You have to understand the reason why they're there. You can definitely put a value on card. I can definitely see like I would pay more for an on-card than a sticker, but I'm not going to crap on a sticker auto. I don't do sticker autos. Sticker autos are garbage. And even say this too. There's somebody made a great argument to me that you could argue that sticker autos are less likely to be counterfeit than on card. And he basically said that I think when they made the sticker autos, you're signing on a sticker that has like Panini or Topps logo on it. So that sticker, if you know it or authenticate it, can't be peeled off or whatever. Or they used to, I don't know if that's still the case, but that was pretty valuable. Where an on-card auto could be counterfeited, right? Could be somebody sketching or whatever. And then we assume it's real because it's on card. Right, so just something to think about. I didn't think about it, just interesting. Sports card nonsense, great points. Yeah, sports card nonsense. The dude's just arrogant. He just poops on people. He's not very welcoming. He's been pooping on me for over a year. There was some guy who used a troll account, Zaggy Yes. I had Ziggy No. He made an account Zaggy Yes, and he trolled him. It was not me, but he was trolling him. And I remember him reaching out to me. Are you the same person? No, dude, it's not me. I've reached out to him several times. I had conversations with him. I think I spoke to him live one time. And he's always been very arrogant, very just rude. A lot of the YouTubers, in my opinion, these content creators are, because they are really looking at selfishly, what can you do for me, right? If you've got a channel, like they'll look at you, how many people do you have? How many followers do you have? Can you help me? They don't care that you might be, a local card store person, or maybe you are a member of some small community, or that you on a Facebook group. I don't know. They don't care. They don't look at your public stuff. How many Instagram followers you have? It is what it is. That's kind of why the reason I built some, though. At least I have some followers. People have to take some credibility. Thank you very much, man. I do appreciate that. I do appreciate it. It's been a long week. I want to talk every day. What's up? So to answer your question, I do use a bulk submitter. It's something I've debated about. Like I submitted directly to PSA, or I'm sending it directly to PSA my Funko Pops today. And by the way, there's a special on sports Funko Pops. I do that direct, but I do the cards through a friend. Why do I do that? Well, I got a reason for that. Mainly because I let him scan it. I let him review it. I pay him a few bucks for it. I've been working with this guy for years. I don't know why I do it. I like him. I could do it on my own. I'll tell you another reason. I'll be honest. Here's another real reason why I like it. Let's be brutally honest. So I send him 100 cards. He gets them. He wipes them. He reviews them. If he thinks they're bad, he sends them back to me or tells me, I don't think you should sub these, right? Okay. Then they go in. He sends me a bill. Hey, this is what the bill is going to be. 1,000 cards, $20, 100 cards, $20 a card, $2,000. I'm just guesstimating. And then I know there's 60 days before those cards are even going to show up. So then I'll send him a little money every month or whatever I want, a little month, every other week, whenever I sell a card, whatever it is, I can send him some money. Or he gets the thing back and he tells me, hey man, your cards come back. And I know PSA does the same thing. I don't have to pay PSA, but I feel like I'm using him kind of like a layaway plan, right? Because I know I've got 60, 90 days for those cards to come back. So I make those payments to him so I don't get hit at the end. That is one thing I realized has kind of kept me on the nipple. If that's brutally honest, because I don't like getting hit with like 100 cards at the end of a month. I normally don't budget well for that. So I try to send him money every month and he's sending me cards. So we're normally back and forth on PSA cards. So that's why I've been using them for a long time. But I do use a subber, whatever it's called. Yeah. Submission dude. I definitely will, man. It's funny. I was thinking about that. If I go to the National, I just know I'm not going to have time to catch up with everybody because there's so many people I do want to see. My goal is probably to be there Thursday. I'd like to go weekday. I mean, maybe even Wednesday and Thursday. I like to go weekday because I just really want to go in, and I'll be brutally honest here too. I'm thinking about doing a video on going to the National and having it paid for by free stuff at the National. Because last year I went to National Atlantic City and I just drove up for the day and drove back. But I drove up, paid for gas, I paid for food. I bought nothing at the National as far as card related. I did got a bunch of free stuff right at the National. And I sold that later on. And I looked at this and realized I paid for my trip to the National on like the eBay cards I sold, the cards I got from the eBay booth. And I'm like, damn, that was cool. So I'm thinking next year, could I do that again? Could I sell the stuff that you get in the free stuff and pay for the National? I think you can. I don't know what's going to be there this year, but I think it's going to be bigger. I think this will be a bigger corporate event. I also think this will be the biggest corporate year. I think it will probably peak this year and probably be smaller next year. So I would like to go up either on Wednesday and Thursday, go to all the free promo events you can get until you get in line once or twice, get the free packs, get the eBay cards, get all that stuff, and see if I can pay for my trip by doing that. I think I'll take some cards up for trade nights on that, but I'm not going up there to buy anything. I might go up there and buy a box to open. I do remember last year I wanted to buy a box of Topps. I didn't do that because I'm going to buy some silver packs, but we'll see. The likelihood of me making a National for a day are greater than 50%. Yeah, you guys are awesome, man. It's so funny too. Watching different content, I do see different perspectives. Like, it blows my mind how there are so many people who just buy the finished card, and then they judge other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I bought a PSA 9 the other day. It was a great card. I cracked it and I got a PSA 10. But those guys who in breaks are idiots. Those guys in breaks are gamblers. Like, what are you doing, man? I just don't get that. We're all in the same hobby together, man. Cigars easy to counterfeit, in my opinion. You think so? Oh, yes. But is that counterfeiting? If you remove the sticker and put it on something else, and the auto is still there. Interesting. I've heard somebody talk about this, that they were doing that I don't think it was a repack. I think he was making his own custom card, and he admitted that he used the propylene alcohol to get the sticker auto off of a card. He bought I'm going to make this up. He bought a Larry Bird off a prestige card, but he wanted the Larry Bird legitimate auto. So he took it with the sticker and then put it onto a card and made a custom card. Now in his mind, he liked the fact that it was an authentic auto. And because of the Panini sticker, it would then be an authentic. I don't know if you could authenticate the auto or not, but I can see both sides of that, man. You know what I'm saying? I can see both sides of that. And is that illegal? Definitely like Magini throwback content for cards used to be. Oh, absolutely. Dude, I can't wait for him to open his museum because I'll be like, I knew this guy before he opened his museum. We should do a GoFundMe for opening the Mangini Museum. I mean, I'd love to do that. I think that'd be a great idea. Mangini Museum Fund GoFundMe. Oh, also, I love the Grumpy mask. You guys have to do that at the National. Please tell me you're going to do that. I would love to do that. I think that's freaking awesome. Okay, going a little late today. Yes, would love to. I think recommend get more fiction or detective. Yeah, I agree. He's very abrasive, and he made some borderline racist remarks at one point. Maybe they're racist from that triggered a lot of people. But yeah, I don't. It's funny. I think sometimes though that gets attention. I do really appreciate the fact that I think Flipping Steve does a very good job of Flipping Steve. Just a good guy. So for years, professional. Yeah, I've heard great things about him, man. I've heard great things about this guy, even before he got involved with Jeff. And there are some really good subbers out there. I mean, my thing with subbers is, look, dude, you got to trust them because you just got to trust them. I'll just put it that way. You got to trust them. And I trust the guy I work with. It is the way it is. Would I work with somebody new? Probably not. If I wasn't going to use the person I sub and I'm not going to share their name, I probably could help them. In fact, I remember back in 2020, he wanted me to encourage, like promote his thing. And I was going to offer me something like it for every subber I sent to him. But I just don't want to do that for a couple selfish reasons. I like using him. I don't want to be too busy. I don't know. But if I didn't use him, I would do it myself. And I do think in the future, I will probably do my own PSA submissions. I need to do my own. Yeah, I need to do my own eventually. I don't know. So I'm going to give you my brutal, honest opinion on this. At this point, no. I do not think grading Funkos is the way to go. I was very bullish in the beginning, and I thought it was a great way to differentiate the pop count type of mentality where you have thousands of Funkos, but how many are tens? Well, a couple early feedback from this. First of all, tens are extremely hard to get. I have submitted Funkos. I've never gotten a freaking 10 yet. I haven't even gotten a 9 yet. I think I got an 8.5. They're extremely hard to get. I think the grading of Funkos is even more subjective than cards. Like, I think it's ridiculous. Like, I think, for example, I think the Funko boxes get messed up just in the fact you have to put a Funko protector on it. So the grading of Funkos, still too early. I think you can definitely make money in it because there are people who will pay a premium for a Funko that's graded. So if you want to do it, there's not a big market for it. There's not many people, but you have to be patient. You're not going to sell them as quickly. They're not as liquid. The shipping, you have to pay more to ship them. I think the best thing is to get the autographs and grade them with authenticated autographs. And that's why I'm sending two Micah Parsons Funkos that are autographed to PSA because I'm going to get the autograph authentication and grading on that. And that to me, I think, is a great value because you have the autograph, which is still pricey, a couple $100 for an autograph nowadays. You put it on a Funko, which is a couple bucks, and you grade that in a slab that I think is very, very, protectable. Got the guarantee and everything, and then that's resellable. I think that has a place, but not like sports cards. In fact, after playing with Funkos, I realized sports cards are so much more profitable when you think about the time, effort, money, energy, resources, storing, everything. They're so much more profitable compared to other collectibles. And I think that's why people like cards. I think that's the number one reason why cards in general are such a powerhouse in the collectible industry. So much easier to ship, right? So much easier to store. It's just big fan. I love the Funkos, man, but no. I hope to go to national, man. I do, really do. I love this question today, man. Yeah, I don't disagree. Is it fake though? If you took a real auto and put it on, cool. I would be there Wednesday, Saturday. I would love to. Yeah, I'm interested. I don't, as far as it's sitting numbers and records, I think that's great. They have more space. That's why I think there'll be more corporate sponsors and more corporate stuff to be there. Again, as a person, I don't want there to be a lot of people there. I don't. I don't want to be nobody there, but I want to be a good amount of people. Let's just have a regular, 50,000 people show up. I'd love for 50% of them to be women too. Let me just say that. I would love 50%. I would love more women in the hobby. Yep. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate your support there. I'll remove the sticker in the Marcus. Ah. The sticker and the forgers to the forger new auto. Yeah. Again, here's another thing that's mentioned, Paul. As we both know, there's laws around autograph stuff. So when you're fiddling with autographs, forging autographs is a crime. Making a new card with the license on it is not as big a crime. You started or no one. Yep, I agree. Oh, hold on. Heard it sometimes before. It's too hard. Bent garbage. Auto tested. Stupid experience messing. Yep. See, I don't know if you get much better grades. I don't know. I've seen like little victories. He gets really good grades and he does his own. That's what kind of inspired me to do my own. I'm like, this young man's doing this shit. I should do it. Yep. I agree, but it's illegal. My criticism with SGC, man, and I do think they're great for vintage. And I'll say this too: at vintage, you're not dealing with autographs as much. So I understand why you guys use them, but I would just keep pushing them. They didn't do a registry. Like, why didn't they do a registry? In my opinion, with SGC, I'll be brutally honest. There's a rich owner or owners who are sitting there going, "Shit, man, you see how much money we're making?" And then there's Peter who wants to do stuff but can't. Like, he probably wants a registry. He probably wants autograph authentication. But the owner's like, no, why would I spend more money? I'm making lots of money. And that's my problem with SGC. They are a cash cow. They're making so much money. Why would they change? I'll give you another little insight on SGC. And because Carlos made this point very clear to me. Someone's like, why just drop the price? They could be number two. They don't want to be number two. Let me be clear. SGC does not want to be number two. They would die if they were number two. They struggle to do what they do today. And I don't say struggle. Let me take it back. They're doing a good job at processing the 100,000 cards they process now. Could you imagine if they had to process 500,000 cards a year? A month? They'd be crushed, and you wouldn't get your cards back so quickly, and the customer service wouldn't be quite as good. And could they scale as fast? Do they have the money, the millions of dollars to make a global company and grow as fast as PSA did the last few years? No. If SGC had that volume, they would struggle. And I think SGC knows that. They've got a barometer. They know how much money's coming in. They know how much they can grade. They know how much customer service, and they're just metering that model. But what they're not doing, guys, they're not doing anything to make SGC better. See what I'm saying? Like, they're not putting a registry in. They're not going to add autograph authentication. Those things are costs that, yes, maybe down the road help them, but they're also looking at this going, we can't compete with CSG. They got big bucks, man. Like, really, SGC's end game has to be either keep the meter running where they continue to make money or sell. I want to do a video testing and trimming, see if I get blacklight edges and detect on the edges. I think it'd be cool to do. I think it'd be fun to send them in to do some trimming and submit it. Good morning, Orlando. Good to see you, man. I am so behind. I'm just not going to stop that blacklight. I'm off today. So if you guys are thinking, why is he still going this light? I'm not working today. So here's the hotel. I think it's sold out. Your ticket's sold out. And if I were to go up, I'd get a hotel out of the area. I don't need to be right by there. You know. Exactly. So exactly, sir. Yeah, for me, it's 10 hours from DC. Well, I'll tell you, in my opinion, Clemente, I think what's really nice about 2020 is that we are going to see positive changes. They lag, they take years, right? But I do think if breaking were to become a legitimized gambling industry, which is what it is, we just make it legitimate gambling, and you can still keep cards, as collectible on the back end. Then I think the next thing is grading needs to become legitimate. Someone needs to propose a standards that are recorded, what the size, width, how cards are graded. There needs to be transparency in grading. I don't think you're going to see that again because there's so much money in the way things are done today. PSA loves the way things are done today. They love it. Why would they change that? That won't change until, again, like I said, an outside force pressures them to make that change. Maybe they get sued enough. Maybe a bigger company comes in. Maybe, like, for example, if Fanatics were to truly gamify and make this $1 billion, and I'm telling you, I'm talking about the game with the breaking. It doesn't be cards. It could be redemptions to go meet, like, one of the chases in the product could be hang out with, Stephen Curry for a weekend, go to a concert. There's so many things that millennials and even myself would love to have in a product that's gamified. Okay. That would trickle down to the point, like I talked about earlier. Fanatics would say, why am I waiting on a third party to authenticate and grade something? I'm just going to create a graded, here's a standard card, here's the specs of the card, here's the authentic autograph, here's the session, here's the video of the experience when you met him. If all that's controlled by Fanatics, they don't need PSA. So I think, again, grading companies need to get their shit together. I'll put it that way. At the same time, we as consumers need to get our shit together. Like, why are we using these grading companies? Consistently today, cards, many years plus, are as they were. I don't think they're consistent, though. SGC is not consistent just because, again, 10 years ago, none of the fucking people were here. They had 8 people, dude, in 2020. Go listen to Cardboard Chronicles interview with Peter. Peter was one of 8 people in 2020. 8. So 10 years ago, there's a totally different people grading for SGC. And that is maybe what should make you scared more than anything, is realizing that these are all humans. Like every 10 years, the graders are going to change over. The grading standards will change over. That's why it's all subjective. It's all wizards and magic. And I love it. Oh, what's this one? Never been a national. Anyways, want to go. It's not, it's okay. I mean, I love that for the people. There's the only reason I'm going to the national is to meet people. The only reason. Exactly. Ultra modern grading is not about card conditions, it's about making the card a liquid asset. I absolutely agree. Because what's the reason? Because people weren't honest about the condition of the cards when they sold on eBay. They lied. They lied. In fact, let me just share with you a great story I heard the other day. This is a great story. This is from a Sports Cards Lesson, who was a dealer at the Chantilly show. I didn't get to see him. I missed him. I don't know how I missed him either. He says on day Friday, I'll make this story short. Day Friday, dealer comes over to him, buys 5 cards from him, and he haggles with him to get the cards. Tells him he's a collector, talks some stories. So he gives the guy 5 great deals and 5 cards. Guy walks away. He later on, I think on Saturday, realized, oh, that guy sold those cards. So he's a dealer at another booth. So he goes over to the dealer, doesn't make eye contact with him, but sees those 5 cards that he had are in the guy's booth. He's selling. He's reselling the 5 cards he bought from him on Friday. On Sunday, he goes by the booth again. All the cards are gone, but one of them, of the 5 cards that were sold on Friday, 1 card is in the display on Sunday. Now, you're going to love this part, dude, because this, to me, talks about why we need more watchdogs in the hobby and why the hobby is not a bunch of nice people. The dealer comes over him on Sunday and goes, hey, man, I changed my mind about this card. I don't really like it. Give him some great story, some bullshit. Basically, he's trying to get a refund or trade value equal to whatever he paid for this card for some different card at this man's case. And Ken says to him, and Ken, let me applaud you for calling him out. He goes, dude, you bought those 5 cards. You put them on your display. You tried to sell them. That one you didn't sell. And now you want me to give you your money back? How'd you do on the other 4 cards? And the guy smiled and laughed. I did pretty well. Why I shake my head, dude? Where do we get off like thinking that type of that's like acceptable lifestyle? Like, I'm trying to think of other industries where people do shit like that. I don't understand, man. You are exactly who your character says you are. Is there anything wrong with what he did? Some people say, oh, he was just working his angle. He played the collector, got a good deal, tried selling them, didn't make much money. He just tried playing it. He's a hustler. In not a good sense, in my opinion. I don't know, man. That just bothered me. I thought this was a great story, though. I wanted Ken to tell me who he was. Ken did not say who it was, because I'd love to meet him and talk to him and say, dude, tell me about this. Tell me about the audacity. Like, what made you think that was cool? Do we do that with cars? I don't know. Maybe they do. Trading companies will always have AI at some point. Better. I agree. But I think they'll control that AI, right? I think, well, it's not important right now. I'll check the Collector's Dream. Dude, Collector's Dream, great channel, great person. New ones. I agree. I agree with you on that. Now, here's again what I've said this before. In order to get into the registry business, because CSG did this, you need to make a universal registry. You can't come in and go, I got a registry too, because they're like, so what? I'm in the PSA one. I'm balls deep in PSA right now. Okay, what are you going to do for me now? So you come in with a universal registry, and you have to come in with incentivizing prizes. And this is a no-brainer. I don't know why no one fucking does this, dude. What I mean by that is, in PSA, you get to go to lunch or breakfast at the National, and you get your name up and some points. Someone should gamify this shit. Gamify Universal Registry. In fact, you could just make a company called Gamify Universal Registry and put prizes for people completing certain registries, and they get more points based on the card. Like, hey, if you did all the registry in one slab, you get certain points. If you did it in a mix, you get other points. If they're all average 9s or 10s, whatever. But a gamified registry where you win something, you get something from sponsors for completing registries, holding registries, managing registries. Boom, game changer. Now, again, if I was CSG or SGC or somebody who's on the outside looking in, I would be a sponsor for creating a unified set registry. Gamify that bitch. And again, even that knucklehead, any knucklehead who has a lot of followers could come in and help that promotion, to help make the hobby better. You know why that makes the hobby better? Because we'd all have visibility into one universal registry. We could track serial numbers and cards and conditions, and they could see that, hey, in the registry, there's already 5 registered PSA 10s for this card. So a new one shows up, it's going to have a different value because it's not in a registry, right? Or did someone sell one of the registry? Man, there's so much stuff you could do. I need to stop talking. SGC just expanded their Boca office. They can't handle more volume. Could BGS be a sleeping giant? They could be, but they need a huge revamping. Like I made a video on Beckett about a year ago on what they could do, because I'll say this too. In my opinion, they need to go back to the basics, which is pricing. Okay, there's too many sources for pricing. Let's be honest. In the hobby today, the authoritative source for pricing is last sold on eBay comps. Most of us, if I get 5 people in a room together, we will agree upon we can leverage the last 5 sales of an eBay last sold. But there's 55 different data tools out there. So if I was Beckett, I would make a very, very strong data tool, and I'd give it away for free. And I'd sell advertising through it. It'd be a members. You have to sign up to get the tool. You'd be a member. You get advertising as a push down member, and I target the marketing towards you. But it'd be free. Not only be free, you would give me sales data. When you make transactions, you could upload your own eBay sales data into it, or your own trade show data from that. If you empower the collector and give me something as a collector for giving you data, and I get access data free, boom, game changer. Put all those other damn data fucking tools out of business. I mean, it's ridiculous. I used to like them. I used to be a fan. I've supported all of them. I've used all of them. But that's the thing. Beckett, go back to the basics. Become a grading company. Go back to pricing. Give pricing away for free. Sell advertising and marketing. And then build out your media presence. Build out Beckett Media. Beckett Media. Beckett Media. You got the name. The name is the most valuable asset you have. And then it goes back to grading. I'd make the grading more exclusive. I wouldn't try to get your grading numbers up to be second or third or fourth. I would make you the best grading company in the world. I honestly would. I would say we're going to have a certain higher standard. Our graders, here's our team of graders. I'd have the graders public. Maybe their faces aren't public, but their profiles are. Here are the graders. So here's experience. You want to become a grader at Beckett? You can't come off the street. We didn't hire you 2 years ago or 1 year ago. You're the fucking best of the best. We pay you really well. You only grade the best shit. Isn't Steve Grad over there doing the authentication? He would be running the damn team. The best of the best. The elite. Don't call me to do your fucking card for $50. That's not what I do. When I grade a card, I do it for, I don't know, minimum $250, and I give you everything you want to know about it. I tell you everything about the paper, the consistency, what the sweat was in the room, who was on there, period, when the damn card was made. You like that one? Everything you want to know, and do it in one sealed case, authenticated. Make them the best. Pricing, free, high-end grading. That's what I'd do if I was Beckett. Beckett, sleeping giant. Damn. Is anybody paying attention? SGC dubbed their fees. Yeah. I know. First of all, dude, that was their business 101. Like the fact that Peterman came out and said, well, we had too much, so I doubled the price. That was he told you that was his plan. Look it up. Jordan Peace Magic. Cards rehab gave me a healthy hobby when I needed it. I like that. I could see that too. Because Fanatics can put anything in a fucking slab and people will buy it, right? I mean, they have the Fanatic slabs. It would give them some legitimacy to do the tag piece. And again, here's the thing: if I was Fanatics, you can't do this for every product, but maybe you have some products that every product coming off the line goes through tag pre-scanning, so it gets it. Every card here was pre-scanned at tag 9 or greater. So you knew that all cards had a consistent, like that's a quality assurance, right? Instead of having QA where a person opens a box, have tag algorithms looking at each card and some, but you can't do it with every card. Maybe with certain select high-end products, you'd have some type of AI scanning that guaranteed a certain grade. And then they came out encapsulated in a pre-created, pre-slabbed tag that said 9, 9.5, 10. And that's the only variation. Nothing was lower than a 9. Anything lower than 9 was considered a reject. I like it. TTM is fun. I wish I got into it. I like TTM a lot. I think TTM's going to get more expensive. But again, I don't think Fanatics would buy CSG. It's too big. Yep. They could run tag like a franchise. Yo, 1 million Cubs project, dude. It's an honor to even have you in my live stream. Like I started my live stream saying that I love yours so much and I don't know when to put mine in. And I'm just going long today because it's Friday. My schedule changed. I have a little extra time. I'm actually running to the post office next. Man, let's keep it going. I love this. I love this live, so I always look for something to consume after. Dude, I could try to do 9, but I normally at work by 9, so it's hard to do that. Oh, big fan of your stuff, though, dude. Like, there's no reason to watch mine. That's why I stopped doing my dailies. Like it's funny. If you want to shut Ziggy up, just put good content on. I mean, it's that easy. Dude, just go listen to 1 million cards every day. I feel part of your family too now with the move and everything, man. I don't know. I agree with you. I think, Clemente, I think part of it is a lot of them are really happy with the way things are. Like, I thought that about Beckett all along. Beckett made a lot of money in 2020. Like, well, why would I touch anything? Like, holy shit. Like, and I'll say this too, before Beckett, like when I came to the hobby in 2015, 16, 17, I remember somebody telling me it's a losing hobby. Like, everybody loses money in the industry. Like, in fact, the only people making money at that time were the breakers. And a lot of them became breakers, became themselves up ahead of water and not losing, right? You had the big companies making money who had the allocations, deep pockets, they made money. But for the most part, most people were treading water, losing money, right? There are a few people. Like, I remember there was this group. Okay, I'm gonna go back, piggyback in the Wayback Machine. I'm in Facebook groups, and that was the best place to buy and sell cards, buy and sell boxes and stuff. And Facebook groups used to have caps. They wanted to sell stuff 10% under the last comp. It was a safe place, fee free, friendly free. You got vouchers, no debt. Damn it, what was I going with the story? Facebook. Damn it. Oh, then there was this group called Slab Hut. And I remember going to this group called Slab Hut, and all it was graded Beckett cards. And I'm going to make this story short because I just lost train of thought and I'm come back to the story. Okay, so I went from Facebook groups buying and selling cards, raw cards, and rip cards, sell cards raw. How good's the condition? It worked, man. It was before, and grading wasn't very popular. Slab Hut. Someone's like, check out Slab Hut. I remember going to Slab Hut, and these cards, same cards, were in Beckett 9.5s, Beckett at the time. And they were going for 3 to 4 times the same card price. I'm like, what? Why? Like, this made no sense to me. And I remember winning a card, a Chris Bryant. It was an autograph. It was an Origins Inception autograph. And it was after, it wasn't, I don't think it was his rookie card. He didn't have the rookie label on it. And I remember winning it for like, I think it was like $500. And then his base card was like $100. So the same card's $100. And that was when I remember talking to a guy and explaining to me about slabs. And he introduced me to this guy named Cage. I think it's Cage. No, it's not Cage. Cage is Cage Lawyer. Damn it, what's this other guy's name? He ran a sports card grading group, still very popular. You guys probably know who I'm talking about. He introduced me to him. Basically, you'd send him his cards. He would clean them, he would slab them, and then he'd get them back to you, and you could sell them. And Slab Hut, which is no longer in Facebook, it's changed its name. One guy, and I don't want to use people's name to get in trouble. Let's call him Chuck. Chuck was in New York. He sent the cards down to this other guy who would slab them. He was in Texas. He'd clean them, slab them, and get them up there. And I remember watching this business of cards getting basically bought on groups for like, I don't know, $50 raw and being sold slabbed a few days later for hundreds of dollars. And thinking to myself, man, that is the only way I saw people making money back in pre-2020, 2019. And it was very lucrative. And people didn't like it. Like, it was frowned upon. Talking about the multiplier and how people were always using, I remember would break cards and he'd walk them across to Beckett and get them Beckett 24 hours and have it back in the channel the next day. The reason I mentioned that is that I think those companies were in on the take, man. I think, as we heard before, a lot of them were doing free grading with guys who had lots of cards. They gave them favorable grades because they needed to have so many cards in the market. I just think the industry as a whole, it's dirty. It was dirty in the beginning. I guess that's what I'm thinking. I don't know. Maybe that's, love to get greater notes. Like, it doesn't make sense why they wouldn't give you greater notes. Like, even a grader sits there and goes, why don't I give them the greater notes? And there's somebody probably that goes, because they'll pay more if you don't. I mean, that's really the answer, right? Some guys in their grading cards goes, well, dude, this card right here has a thumbprint on it. And if this guy simply moved it, he'd probably get a PSA 10. And the guy in the room goes, shut up, put the slab on it, send it back to him. He'll crack it, he'll wipe the thumbnail off, and he'll resubmit it, and we'll make more money. I think that's sadly what the hobby is. That's one thing that bothers me. Like, I remember you ask these guys, like I remember Nat said this, and I think Peter said this, that if they see a thumbprint on a card, their graders will wipe that off. Well, then why do I see thumbprints on the cards that are graded? Do you know what I mean? Like, that bothers me. One thing I think graders should do, I think graders should take the card when I send it to you, and you should do everything legally, ethically possible to put it in its best condition before you slap it. So if there's a thumbprint on it, you should be responsible for wiping the thumbprint off. And if you send me a card that you slapped and you graded a 9 or 10 or an 8, and it's got a thumbprint on it, you should pay, the grading company should pay the fees to reslab that for me, because I'm annoyed. A little OCD, I'm annoyed by that. But that's not the way it happens. Instead, we get left with this subjectiveness on what's going on. I got to get out of here. I got to wrap this up. Wow, the dealer story makes me suck everywhere. Watching games, my cards. Yeah, that dealer story is pretty crappy, wasn't it? Biggest winner of the hobby, eBay. Yep, absolutely. And the people who really love the cards in the end. Those are the big winners. When you have a card that's not leaving your PC and you're happy with, there's no value, that's the winner. Man, I hope things, dude, that sucks. Yeah, I understand that. Oh, I don't understand that. I understand wanting to be a kid again. I do not understand not being able to run with my kids, though. Have a great day, guys. I got to get out of here, man.